And we are in. Welcome everybody to day one of me posting long form content on my YouTube channel. And Happy New Year, one and all. It is the 2nd of January at 4:49 p.m. here in Spain. And if I look like a disheveled hobo, it's because I literally got off a plane from England less than 3 hours ago. But I am absolutely buzzing. Not just because I'm sat here recording this, not just because it is a new year, but because I am back in the sunshine. You cannot see it, but I'm looking out at the beach, at the ocean. It's about 18 degrees here. I've just spent 10 days in the UK with my family. Always nice to see them, but it's always nice to come back. And I tell you what, you appreciate it so much more when you get back here. I'm excited to get into the new year. I'm excited to get into the goals that I've got, and I'm excited to start this. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Doug. I'm an online fitness coach. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, on and off. For about 3 years, I was doing it absolutely 4 years, I was doing it very intensely. For the last probably 9 months or so, I took I wouldn't say a complete sabbatical from it, but I was doing other projects at the same time. But in the last 3 months or so, I've just been absolutely back on it, full throttle. And I've got to say, going into it almost like for a second time round has been insanely amazing. And I'm so glad I made the decision to do it, and I'm so committed to it now for the absolute long term. I'm going to get into the reasons of why I kind of took one step away from it on another episode, but I just wanted to give you the context of who I am, because I appreciate the vast majority of people who are watching this or listening to this, which by the way is why I have the laptop here. It's not because I've got notes, it's because I'm recording the audio on a little shitty MP3 audio recorder app, which I literally downloaded 17 seconds ago. I have no idea if it's going to work, but hopefully it does. I may, from episode 2, put a microphone on here. We're going to see how echoey this is. I also appreciate that some gimp has decided to drill outside precisely at the minute that I decided to start this. But we're not going to let us get that down. However, what I do want to do, I've introduced myself. I want to tell you why I am doing this. So, when you're in an industry like the fitness one, as I'm sure you guys know, and I'm sure you appreciate, particularly if you watch this channel, there is a hell of a lot of people creating fitness content. There is a lot of noise in the industry. There is a lot of passion in the industry. There is also a lot of divisiveness in the industry. There's a lot of people over here shouting a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of people over here shouting a lot of stuff. And the vast majority of people listen to them or listen to them, but they don't tend to listen to the people so much in the middle. It's a little bit like politics, it's a little bit like life. The world likes to divide us, but the vast majority of people who are sitting here, the silenced majority, should we say, are the ones who you probably should be paying the most attention to. And I like to think that I sit on the edge of the middle, because I think if you sit too much in the middle, you just become a bit vanilla, a bit boring, a bit plain. I think one of the mistakes I made when I first entered the industry, and it was out of passion, I suppose, was if you're trying to solve everybody's problem for every single person at the same time, you actually end up helping nobody. But I think once you sort of have been doing it for a while, both creating content, both helping people with fitness results, nutrition, diet, mindset, you start to carve out your niche, shall we say, in terms of your tone of voice, who you're speaking to, who resonates with you. You get through the initial batch of losers who just hate and throw shade at you. And that hurts when you first get that, by the way. It checks your ego, because you post the content, you think, oh my God, I've posted on YouTube, I'm gonna be a millionaire now. It doesn't work that way. Everybody's gonna listen to me. It definitely doesn't work that way. Nor do you really want it to, by the way. But once you get over that, and once you've been doing it for a while, you start to build up some insane skills, and you start to build up a lot of conviction. And now I've come back into it properly. That conviction is stronger than ever. I've built a product, I've built a system that is helping guys all over the world. It's insane. We'll get into that. I don't really want this to be a pitch for sales. It's not about that, but it just helps to give you some context about who I am, and you're going to learn a lot more about me. But the reason I am excited, guys, is because this time last year, I was sitting in the UK with a plan and a dream to move to Spain. I moved here on the 1st of March. Which is why I'm excited about right now, because it means that I have a 2-month competitive edge on Doug of 2023, which is so important because I can't explain to you how good I felt in March of last year. So I came here literally on March the 1st, and I think it took about 10 days just to sort of acclimatize, to get used to the place, you know, to spot like supermarkets and gym and meet a couple of people and, you know, just to feel like your new surroundings. And then I just went on this run, and I've never felt so good in my life. The clarity, the attention, the focus, the energy, the positivity, every measurable metric in my life went up, every single one. And I used that, I galvanized that, if that's a phrase, to move here permanently. And I got my residency a couple of months ago. And now I'm excited because the 6 odd months that I spent in Spain last year, because I was here for 3 months, I had to go back to the UK for 3 because of Brexit, and then 3 months at the back end of last year, were amazing. Now I'm back, now I've got my residency, I never need to leave if I don't want to, as long as they don't kick me out, as long as I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. I am a guest here in Spain, and I'm very appreciative of that, and I respect their culture, their language. They are in charge as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to be that sort of imperialist Brit who just rolls in and expects to have servants and whatever. But that competitive edge is huge, so I'm really excited. And one of the things I wanted to commit to doing was long form content on YouTube, and it makes sense to record it as an audio as well, which is why the laptop's here, like I said. And the reason being is that I've been creating content for a very long time, short form content on primarily Instagram, a little bit on TikTok, but it's more just repurposing the Instagram stuff. And in fact, the other day it popped up on my Instagram and it showed me that I'd done 12,000 stories. And I was like, holy crap. And like anything, when you first start doing something, when you first turn that story camera on, point it to yourself and press down with the thumb and record, it's incredibly challenging. You feel incredibly pressured. You're like, why am I doing this? Everything in your brain is telling you not to do it. A little bit right now. I've created tons of these videos, albeit not on YouTube, but because it's a new stimulus, it's a new thing, parts of my brain are like screaming at me to stop, to say, what are you doing? But I'm pushing through, I'm powering through. But the hardest part about the short form content is being able to succinctly get your point across, because, and I'm sure plenty of other fledgling content creators out there, not just in the fitness space, but in all spaces, will be able to resonate with this, that trying to get your point across in 30 to 60 seconds, when it's probably something you're very passionate about, not being funny. No one goes into content creation purely out of narcissism, despite what many people may think. They do it because they're passionate and they want to help someone. And yeah, maybe if they make money along the way, then power to them. That's great. But it doesn't start with that. Trust me, it starts with a passion and trying to get your point across that you're passionate about when you know that no one knows you and the vast majority of people don't care. In doing that in 30 seconds is incredibly challenging. And I'm doing that more than ever now. And don't get me wrong, I love the short form content. It makes you use a part of your brain that most of the time just lays dormant. But the content has to be so scripted nowadays because the competition to get eyeballs, to get attention, to get reach is so hard. And the algorithms have gotten so good at knowing what to push. You have to play the game. Otherwise, you might as well just go home and not bother. I used to be very much, I don't care what I'm going to post whatever I want. And you actually end up just resenting it then because you put so much effort into it and energy and focus, and then you get nothing out the back of it. So a lot of effort goes into that short form content, and it's scripted, and sometimes you come out the back of it and you're like, I haven't really been able to get my point across. I don't think people can really, I can't explain to you a full concept or principle in 30 seconds. It's just not going to happen. Now, there are people who are a million miles better than me, and I really don't want this to come across like I'm using it as an excuse to why, because I'm still going to be doing it. But the beautiful thing about long form, and I lay in bed the other day and I got genuinely excited, and not for the normal reasons that you lie in bed and get excited, unfortunately, but genuinely this was arousing, because I was like, well, YouTube's there for a reason, podcasts are there for a reason. If you've got something to say and you've got great intentions and you've got something and you've got some energy or some wisdom or some perspective that you genuinely think is going to help people, even if it is just that one person, then you should be saying that. In fact, I would even argue that you have a responsibility to be saying it. So I was like, Doug, There is absolutely no reason why you should not be doing this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking the YouTube algorithm. So we're going to be posting a long form video every single day for at least 100 days. I'm not calling it a New Year's resolution because I'm not committing to doing this every single day for the whole year. We're going to get to 100, we're going to assess, and we're going to see where we're at. But already I can feel like this is going to be good. When I first hit, I'll be real with you. This is the second run. I got 5 minutes into the first take and I was like, this is just so shit. I cannot put this out. I know I want it to be raw and I want it to be unedited, which is what they all will be, but this is just terrible. And I think it's because the first episode you're trying to bring it all together, right? And for those of you listening, I'm using my hands a lot to sort of show, I don't know what I'm showing, but you're trying to bring everything together into one place succinctly, and I appreciate you still have the long form content, so you don't have to be as succinct as short form, but you don't want to drag because you appreciate people's time is very precious, and I appreciate if you're still watching this. And the beauty is I'm going to get better at this, and this is the second version. This is going up. It is going up raw, it's going up unedited, and every single day we'll do that. There's not going to be any catchy thumbnails. In fact, every single day is going to be called day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. There's not going to be any clickbaity titles. There's not going to be more than one camera. There's going to be me. There's going to be this camera. I might get a microphone because I'm conscious this may sound a little bit echoey and that just sounds a bit crap. And I do actually have like a really low quality one in the drawer there. So we might do that up tomorrow. I'm going to see how this sounds. If it sounds all right, I'd rather do it without a microphone, but we'll see. And we're just going to see what happens. And every single day, the goal, the title is going to be like some kind of topic, some kind of idea or concept or perspective or lesson. Now, they may not all be interesting to you, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to be offended if you subscribe, watch a couple, and then unsubscribe, or you want to throw me some hate comment, that's absolutely fine. In fact, I would welcome it because the algorithm loves it. So hate on me, please. Give me loads of shit, please do. That'd be amazing. But yeah, that is the plan. And starting with today, today's lesson is a super simple one. Get out of your own way, because I could so easily, in fact, you could argue I already have, put this off for as long as possible. And you speak to everybody, especially this time of year. I call the week between Christmas and New Year Gooch Week. It's the most pointless thing in the world, right? It's horrible for the vast majority of people. Either because you're just ready to go, you've kind of done Christmas. Christmas is a very divisive time of year, right? I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Christmas. It brings back, it's a time of year which not a lot of great stuff has happened to me, despite it being Christmas on Christmas Day, obviously. That's probably the most obvious thing you'll hear all day. And New Year's Eve is my birthday. I have literally turned 36 two days ago. I know, I look 28, but whatever. And it's just a tough time for me and for a lot of people. Now, also, I appreciate there are people who absolutely love this time of year. However, the bit after Christmas, I don't think anybody truly loves that, because it's an opportunity for people to either continue to hide and run away from what they've been putting off and the stuff that they know is going to hit them twice as hard in the new year. In fact, I've literally had a conversation with someone about 30 minutes ago, he knows who he is, I'm not going to call him out, who literally said, this is going to take me some time to get going because I'm so brain dead because I've done absolutely fuck all for a few weeks. And I'm not going to be the guy who sits there and goes, oh, I told you so, because that doesn't add any value, doesn't help him. But it's so true, and he's certainly not the only person. And I actually purposely this year did not switch off. And people will say, oh my God, why? You should enjoy it and you should relax. When I was with my parents, they were literally like, you should be relaxing, you should be enjoying yourself. And I was like, I am enjoying myself. My mum actually said to me, you've barely said a word. And I just had nothing to say. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just was focused. I was dialed in. I was carrying on as normal, because I feel like when you've got momentum, the worst thing you can do is take your foot off the gas. Your body and your brain will tell you when you need a rest. And even then, when it first tells you you need a rest, you don't need a rest. We're going to come on to that another day. But the lesson of today is just to get out of your own way. If you're not where you want to be, if you're not achieving something and you know you can, it's because of you. It's not because of anyone else. Don't take on this victim mentality. And everyone talks about this idea of like, what if I don't do this? Or something like that. What if I do this? What if I do that? What if I don't do that? well, what if you don't do it? You know, there's people who are much more stoic and philosophical than me, and they've taught me a lot in the last year or so around looking at your life in the bigger picture, zooming out and thinking to yourself, you have the ability to do something now, or lots of things now, that you may not physically and emotionally, mentally, time, financially, whatever it may be able to do in a year, 5 years, 10 years, and certainly not when you're 80 years old. So do what you can now. You owe it to yourself. And I think the vast majority of people just need to get out of their own way. So that's it. That's it for today, guys. Like I said, every single episode is going to be relatively brief. It's going to be relatively short. In fact, this one was probably how long we're running for. We're on 16 minutes. Damn, that was longer than I thought. But if you're still with me, I love you. If you are still with me, I would be incredibly humbled and appreciative if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening to this. It's got to be one of those two, right? And obviously, like, tell all of your friends. Genuinely, like, if this was valuable, if this was useful, if you just like the sound of my voice. I've heard, like, one of the compliments, I don't get many compliments, but one of the compliments I get occasionally, because it is genuinely occasionally, is you have a nice voice. Now, you can take that as a positive person or a negative person. As a negative person, you would say, are you saying I'm too ugly to be on video? Right? I honestly don't think that's that true, but, or you could take it as a positive and say, right, okay, well, I've got a bloody skill here. Maybe I'll just be the guy who someone listens to so they can fall asleep. So I'm purposely not going to make these podcasts too shouty. I genuinely want them to be an authentic, raw reflection of who I am. And I feel, honestly, like today, I'm kind of marking myself in my head out of 10 now. I'm going to give myself a solid 7 out of 10. For episode 1, for day 1, getting out your own way, I'm happy. I love you and leave you guys. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. I'm super excited to get back into that topic. I love you. I'll see you soon.